Hello, everyone. Today's episode of ChatGPT versus Immigration Lawyer is going to tackle questions around the affidavit of support requirement related to the public charge ground of inadmissibility. Quick background. Any person sponsoring their spouse, parent, child, sponsoring an immigrant to come to this country has to affirmatively sign a contract with the government to overcome the public charge ground. The public charge ground means everybody's assumed to potentially be a public charge unless we submit this form. Being a public charge means you are likely or have taken certain cash public benefits. The idea being our immigration code doesn't allow people to immigrate to this country if we think they're likely to need significant government kind of cash assistance to kind of maintain themselves. Let me share this screen and see how ChatGPT does here. So I've already queued up the question. And as you can see here, I first to see if ChatGPT can get the basic requirements about the 864 process, which is the form needed by the petitioner and potentially a joint sponsor if the petitioner doesn't make enough money. What are the requirements to be a sponsor in the 864 process? ChatGPT gets the basics right. U.S. citizen or resident, 18 years of age in the U.S., meet the income requirements. Number 5, I have an issue with. There does not necessarily need to be a familial relationship with the intended immigrant. It can be a friend. Some consulates have tried to impose that as a requirement, but it's actually not in the law, and it's not being required when you apply here in the U.S. Then I try to flush it out a little more and see how ChatGPT does with this next question, which is what benefits count towards the public charge, which would make the citizen sponsoring the immigrant potentially liable in any joint sponsor. And I was pretty impressed with ChatGPT here because it does hit the major areas and it hits the new rule. This was changed recently. It's changed quite a bit over the last couple of administrations, and it does get it right for the most part. So in terms of what counts, supplemental security income, TANF benefits, which is basically welfare benefits and similar state programs. Medicaid actually does not count only for long-term institutionalized care. And it does make that point, so it does a pretty good job. The only part it gets wrong here is SNAP. SNAP does not count as a public benefit for the public charge analysis. So overall, with these kind of basic questions, I think ChatGPT did pretty well. I would give it probably a 7 out of 10 on these basic questions, maybe even an 8 out of 10, since I got most of it correctly here on the basic questions related to this requirement. I will say that any other types of benefits that are excluded, it's important to understand what is excluded, and this rule does change. So it is a complex area of law and of this process. So it is important to be up to date on it before you file an immigration application. Okay, that's enough for this episode. Thank you.